While the world held its breath as Israel and Iran traded missiles in the last 5 days, killing over 230 people, another tragedy is unfolding in complete silence. In Benue State, Nigeria, over 200 people were massacred in just 2 days during the same period. The death toll in Yelewata was a horrifying figure that went almost entirely unnoticed. Yet, no global cameras turned to Nigeria. No emergency UN sessions were called. No world leader issued a statement. Here's what's truly shocking. Nigeria possesses the 10th strongest military in Africa, over 215 active troops, a defense budget of approximately $1.3 billion, ranking 31st globally in military firepower. Yet, in Nigeria's middle belt, the nation's food basket, farmers are being systematically massacred on a weekly basis. The question that I want to get off my chest is simple. Why are Nigeria's most fertile regions, the food basket, always under attack? Who benefits from starving Nigeria into food dependency? And why is no one talking about it? In this episode of Frontline Africa, we examine the facts, just the facts only. Let's start with what happened in Yelewata, Guma local government area of Benue State, Nigeria. On the night of June 13th into the early hours of June 14, 2025, gunmen attacked from two fronts. The community had received advance warnings of an impending attack, yet they remained defenseless. Those killed weren't soldiers or combatants. They were internally displaced persons who had already fled their homes and were sheltering at a Catholic mission. A military checkpoint existed nearby. Security personnel were present not far away. Yet, for 4 hours, the attack continued unabated. Families were locked inside their homes and burned alive. Children, the elderly, over 200 souls extinguished in a single night. Now, consider the global order of concern that followed. On Sunday, June 15th, the newly elected Pope offered prayers for the victims. Then, 24 hours later, on Monday, June 16th, Nigeria's president condemned what he called reprisal attacks. The Pope responded to a Nigerian crisis before Nigeria's own president made a definitive statement. When was the last time you saw that sequence of events for any other major crisis? Yelewata wasn't an isolated incident. It was the latest chapter in a story that began intensifying for over a decade, particularly across Benue and Plateau states in Nigeria's middle belt. According to Amnesty International, between January 2016 and October 2018 alone, at least 3,641 people were killed in farmer-header conflict across this region. Let me repeat. This is not 3,641 people over decades. It's 3,641 people in less than 3 years. Additionally, 406 injured, 5,000 houses burned down, and 182,530 people displaced. SBM intelligence reports that since 2019, violent crashes have claimed over 500 additional lives in the region and displaced 2.2 million people nationwide, with 300,000 in Benue's overcrowded camps alone. These aren't spontaneous outbursts of violence. Amnesty International's research suggests these attacks were well planned and coordinated. Perpetrators wore uniforms, masks, and operated in organized formations. Many attacks happened at night or very early morning. Classic military-style operations. The pattern is clear. Systematic, sustained, and surgical targeting of specific communities. This has been normalized for nearly a decade. Let's be clear about who's dying. Farmers, not militants. Not combatants, farmers. The people who grow Nigeria's food. The Middle Belt is Nigeria's agricultural heartland. Benue State is called the food basket of the nation. Plateau State produces millet, yams, sorghum, corn, rice, and vegetables that feed not just their region, but Nigeria and beyond. Yet, SBM intelligence warns that Nigeria's food security hangs in the balance as the Middle Belt agricultural output plummets due to this violence. According to the Food and Agricultural Organization, 25.1 million Nigerians are now acutely food insecure. Farmers are abandoning their lands, not because of drought or market failures, but because of systematic targeting. Why are attacks always concentrated where food comes from? Is someone trying to control what Nigeria eats? Meanwhile, reports show over 30 genetically modified products have flooded Nigerian market, mostly imported from America and Europe. Local food production collapses while foreign food dependency grows. Coincidence? That's for you to decide. The human cost extends far beyond the death toll. Benue State alone operates 17 internally displaced persons camps, housing families who have been homeless since 2016, nearly a decade. Margaret Jabu, an IDP, has lived in camps for 7 years after her husband died of hypertension following their escape from armed attackers. She treks from camp to farm work daily, trying to feed 5 children while living in a temporary shelter that's become permanent. Multiply Margaret's story by 300,000 in Benue alone and 2.2 million nationwide. The attacks have escalated beyond individual villages. Now, even the IDP camps themselves are being targeted. Church-run shelters like the Catholic Mission in Yelewata are no longer safe havens. They've become target sites as well. This isn't random violence. This is systematic displacement and humanitarian collapse designed to make return impossible and survival dependent on external assistance. Let's examine the leadership response. The president of Nigeria described the Yelewata massacre as a reprisal attack. But reprisal for what? Against whom? When civilians sleeping in a Catholic mission become legitimate targets for reprisal, language itself breaks down. More concerning is the silence of those closest to the crisis. Senator George Akume, secretary to the government of the Federation, is from Benue State. He's a former governor of the same state, now hemorrhaging blood. Yet, public advocacy from his office has been notably absent. When Governor Aliya criticized this silence, Akume's office responded that he works asymmetrically through administrative channels. They said expecting public leadership during a humanitarian crisis betrays a lack of understanding of governmental administrative procedure. Now let me ask, can a governor be called the chief security officer if he can't deploy troops or protect a village? No governor, regardless of religion or party, has been able to stop this violence. This suggests a deeper systemic issue far beyond local politics or individual incompetence. The pattern spans multiple administrations, multiple governors, multiple security chiefs, yet the killing continues with clockwork precision. Now, let me get this straight with facts and not speculation. Fact: Nigeria ranks 3rd in African military strength, 31st globally. Fact: Nigeria's farmers face more danger than soldiers in combat zones. Fact: Nigeria's middle belt gets prayers and press releases. Fact: the Yelewata massacre had nearly the same death toll of the Israel-Iran conflict, but received virtually zero global media attention. Fact: the world notices one, ignores the other. We are not asking you to be outraged. We are asking you to be aware. Comment below. What do you think about the food farm connection? Why does a nation with Africa's 3rd strongest military record the highest farmer death toll? Why are these killings ignored while other conflicts dominate global headlines? This isn't conspiracy. These are questions, and it's time we start asking them loudly, clearly, and together. The Middle Belt is Nigeria's food basket. Today, it's also its graveyard. The question isn't whether this pattern will continue. It's whether anyone will notice before Nigeria's food security collapses entirely. This is Frontline Africa. If you value truth unfiltered and power refrained from an African lens, subscribe, like, and drop your thoughts. I am Ezekiel Enejeta. See you in the next one.